everyone, and good morning and welcome to Match 1, Week 2, Day 1 of the Alienware Arena Tournament. We're going to be going right into the match you just saw on screen, Snipe versus Cog. Any predictions, Cret?
You know, I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup. Snipe took the last Alienware Arena Cup, but Cog, they were eliminated cross-server by the second-place team in a best-of-1 where, you know, as we always say, best-of-1, anything can happen. Best-of-3, you expect the superior team to win most of the time. I think in a case like Cog versus Dignitas, it was so close that you can't say Cog is outright superior. You can say they played better throughout the series, or you could say they played better in the, you know, final clutch moments. But either way, Cog's gotten a lot of practice against some really strong contenders last week during those 2 days. Whereas, have we seen Snipe yet this cup?
Well, they won the last one. And so that's all you really need to know about them and how they play in Arena. Now, Arena is a different animal, and people really have to shift gears when they start jumping into an Arena match and see how they're going to play it. But the last Arena tournament we played, Snipe actually won that overall. And so, you know, when you're coming into this, you're thinking, okay, the previous champions last Arena tournament. And most of these teams, they just play Conquest exclusively. They play League, they play Conquest, they play with their teammates, and, you know, that's about it. They just play tons of it. But Arena's never really on their minds. And so when they come to a $10,000 prize pool, that's when people start to pay attention. That's when they think, okay, well, maybe we should learn Arena.
Yeah, for sure. But, you know, there's always that one player on the team that does play Arena. For Cognitive Gaming, it's Aninster. He's actually been using Arena as a practicing tool since Borderland Gaming over a year ago, because it's 15 minutes of team fighting, so he likes to warm up with some Arena from time to time. Now, Incontinentia, for Snipe, is actually their Arena mastermind. He's the guy who comes up with the strategies that allowed Snipe to take last Alienware Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of practice, and it takes a lot of focus, and, you know, it's always the start. And really, realistically, what happens in the arena is that, you know, anything can happen all the way to the end. You have 500 tickets to start. It goes down to the end, and 10 tickets available is really when you are thinking about how do we end this right. Teams that back off when you get to that threshold is really what makes the difference, is that, you know, you're looking at it and thinking, okay, so we've got this initiation where minion waves are the main focus, and then when you get towards the end, all of a sudden only just the big minion is worth. That's 10 waves, or possibly the ticket spread. But you don't know, every kill in the arena is 5 tickets off of the enemy team. Of course, every minion last hit that you get credit for, and that's important to note in the fact that some teams don't focus on clearing the waves, getting last hits. If the minions die to other minions, you're not reducing the ticket total on the other side. So it's incredibly important to pay attention to your last hits on your team and making sure you're always reducing that, because it adds up over time. You know, let's say you missed 16, 17 last hits that entire game, and then you have the situation where we had, you know, of course, the Dignitas game where they lost by 1 ticket. You definitely feel like you could have got at least a couple more last hits.
Yeah, for sure. But the other thing to take note of is for the last 10 tickets, as you did mention, it's only the big minions that matter. So you want to ideally go into those last 10 tickets with a 50-ticket lead, because they're going to get 6 tickets lost per wave, and you're only get 1 off. So I believe in order to win it clean, you need a 60-point advantage, something like that. Granted, with kills and the ability that you can pressure and all in and say, well, if we all get wiped, that's 25 tickets off the board, but we only need 2 kills. Arena is the one game mode where a 2-for-5 trade can actually win you the game.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. I've personally seen it before. It's that really unfortunate situation where you just want to get that last kill. And I've seen, you know, points where the team, you know, each team had like 4 tickets left that came down at last kill, and then, you know, Odin's about to die, turns around, tries to get the kill himself, and ends up dying and loses the game. And yeah, there's so many crazy situations where the game can change instantly at the very end, and, you know, you think you're winning the entire time. Really, the goal is to just get as far ahead as you can throughout the entire match. You don't have to deal with that last second situation where you're thinking about, can we get a kill, do we go for minions, anything going to the portal. And one thing we haven't mentioned as well is the fact that there's the siege minions minion, which is worth a very large amount of tickets. If it does make it through the portal, it's always spawning, and we've had kind of stalemates where it doesn't spawn at all, but you always have to keep these factors in mind. And of course, the buff camps that are on the side of the map, as usually what happens is when you're coming into it, you'll see the two teams start on either side. They'll go left, they'll pick up the buff camps to start, they'll get the buffs, they'll get the golden experience, and then they'll go right for the wave. So, in the beginning, and while you're watching this, keep this in mind, that they're going to be looking for buff camps, they're going to be looking for last hits on minions, and kills if they can, but generally teams that are smart in arena will play safe in the beginning.
Well, the other thing to note is the initial clear. This is a factor in Conquest, and it's a factor in Arena. We saw Rage, I believe, in the first day last week. They cleared the red camp, and then they just rushed down the wave, grouped up his 5 push-in, and it was actually Shadowq jumping in as Odin to stop the wave from going in completely. I believe only 1 minion made it in, but the point that I'm trying to make is that the first buff clear can be a really good point to get an early advantage, do something a little bit crazy, outfarm your opponents, and how teams will approach that clear is a really deciding factor for the beginning pace of the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing, is that teams that kind of are lax on the small fundamentals are the ones that fall behind in the mid stage of the arena. And, when you have Snipe and Cog here together, they're going to be focusing as much as they can on the small details that make a big difference when the game is finally over. The average runtime for arena is between 17 and 20 minutes, and so you don't really have a lot of time to waste. You can't be making mistakes. You can't be missing things too much here. So hopping into the match, you're going to see that right off the bat, Zeus, Shibalanke, Loki, and Geb are all banned out here. The Loki ban a little bit particular to Snipe, and something they just don't want to deal with in the ring. The fact that if you're going to pick someone like Freya, you're going to pick someone like Poseidon, or someone that really doesn't have a way to get Loki off of them, and they're very slow. They just don't want to get jumped on. And realistically, this could just be a ban for the fact that they wanted Freya, in the way that Freya can just be bursted so quickly, and then with the damage over time effect from the vanish, she can die in the air when she tries to retreat with Valkyrie's discretion. Across the way, we're going to see Nemesis first picked, and back over to Cog, they get Bacchus and Freya.
Yeah, the thing about this Nemesis first pick is it's all about the ultimate. It's all about Divine Judgment, because that ultimate ensures that you can burst whatever target you want. Bacchus, usually tanky. His passive, when you're chugged up to Drunkenness, gives you, or Smash rather, gives you 14% damage reduction. That means if you were going to take 100 damage, you take 86. That's quite a big deal. But Snipe's going to round out their lineup with Bastet and Ao Kuang. Ao Kuang for the clear, and that really powerful ultimate, if it does connect, that's going to be on Stealth's shoulders, most likely. No, Jerby's shoulders, excuse me. And Jerby has always been an Ao Kuang player.
Since the early days, he just loves that character, and why not? He's so simplistic, but the same way, the way he's utilized is very effective. He has good zone control. He has, he's the traffic controller of Smite, where he can kind of direct the teams and where they want to go. He also has the control. Oh, we see a new Wa and a Kumbhakarna locked in here for Snipe. That is a fantastic combination, and I'm excited to see this. We haven't seen a whole lot of Kumbhakarna. There are a lot of combinations there. Of course, the ultimate, the epic uppercut will bring him up into the air, and you can, of course, land the Ao Kuang ultimate. You can put him down inside of the Nuwa, the little zap on the bottom. And I'm surprised to see that the next pick is going to be this late into the picking stage, but it looks like we're going to be having a Scylla hovered on here for Cog.
Right, and Scylla, her going that late is really, really strange, but when you have an earlier Ao Kuang pick, it does make sense. Snipe Gaming did want more damage more magic damage on their lineup. They opted for New Wa, which is an auto attacker. Make no mistake, that's her primary source of damage, and her steroid is, I believe, slightly more effective than Kronos' steroid, with a longer duration of uptime, up to about 20 seconds if you time it right with your snake form, more like 13, 15 in most cases, and that's 20 seconds of doing double damage for a character that can already hit for 200. That could be really scary. So they didn't want that Scylla because they didn't have room for it. Scylla going to MLC Stealth on Cognitive Gaming, well, that could be really scary. We have seen, I believe, a quadra kill coming out from Scylla already this tournament, and that's the power of this character. She has cascade potential unlike any other god except for Kali, where if you get a little bit lucky, you play it really right, you hit all your abilities, and you have great timing, great positioning, you can just kill 5 people.
Yeah, it's kind of like that money in the bank type idea where you're just like, well, as long as we don't lose too bad in the beginning, if we get Scylla to that late game stage, we can do a lot with it. And of course, I'm a Monster, her ultimate will just keep hitting and hitting and hitting as long as you're being careful with it. And like you said, we saw Quadra kill actually last weekend in the first week of the Alienware tournament. And it's just really exciting to see what Scylla can do and how much damage she can have. However, I'm going to add the caveat, the fact that she is really easy to kill. Really, the only thing that she has the slow on Crush, which can be quite effective, but also has the Sentinel to just kind of blink away, teleport away. And after that, I mean, she really isn't that easy to stay alive in the arena, especially, you know, we're going to have Komokarna getting really close to her, slowing her down. Of course, has the ultimate to just kind of set her up for big burst, and Scylla's going to have some trouble kind of reacting to that if she doesn't have the protection. Now, keep in mind, you got Bacchus there, you got Sanu Khan. Of course, those of you who don't know, Jeff Hindla is now on Cognitive Gaming, and he will be playing Bacchus this time. He plays a fantastic Bacchus, and so we'll see exactly what he can do with it. But we're going to go to a brief break, get everything all set up for you. We'll be right back with the first match, or the first game of the first match, Cog versus Snipe. Welcome back, everybody. The first game, the first match here, Snipe versus Cog, is underway. The teams are running through the sands of the arena and going towards the buff camps. We mentioned earlier, you see them splitting on either side of the map. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams before the action begins. Snipe versus Cog, Snipe being the blue team, the bottom side of your map here. We've got Wolfie, 2032 on Nemesis, leading the charge at the top. Next to him is the Kitty Cat, Xing. Jerby gonna play Ao Guang. We have Allied on Nuwa and Kumbakarna in Continentia.
On the other side is going to be Cognitive Gaming. That's Anister on Guan Yu, Jeff Hinla on Bacchus, MLC Stealth on Scylla, Barracuda on Freya, and Omegatron on Sunu Kong. And the first thing to notice is Snipe clearing 3 camps at essentially the same time.
That's right.
And Cognitive Gaming cleared 2 than 1. The difference, Snipe gets there as a team a little bit quicker, and they're going to start clearing with cornucopia of abilities. They're really just using everything right here, and they have a solid creep advantage going forward.
Yeah, no, it's really the small things that add up. We say it every single time we watch arenas, that you have to be very specific on the small things. Get the last hits, get that extra little bit of experience, the extra little bit of gold, buy that extra level of an active item early on. Initiation for a Mega here on, of course, that Senu Kong. Good slow. Bastet going in deep. Does he have the Razor Claws? Looking for it. The D-Claw did not land. There goes the Bird Form. Shin goes down in response. MLC with the burst damage. And that was a crazy initiation by Snipe, but unfortunately, they decided to initiate on Sun Wukong, a very tanky character, right in front of Scylla.
Yeah, that was a critical mistake, as the damage from MLC Stealth was insane. But the other thing you have to account for is Jeff Hindla with that belly flop. You can't jump back when you're already bounced up in the air. Belly flop is hands down, or not belly flop, but knockbacks, hands down the strongest CC type in Smite, and we saw it there securing a kill on a very hard to kill character. I mean, if you want to talk about the hard to kill characters in this matchup right here, Sun Wukong's one of them, and Bastet's another one, and I honestly don't know who I would give higher unkillability to. Pounce is just such a strong mechanic.
Well, especially now with the animations being that much faster, being more fluid, and kind of acquiescing with the motion of the game, it's really important to just kind of watch Bastet carefully, because she can get away quite quickly. And, you know, she has the D-Claw for the slow. She's going to be able to use the Razor Whip to damage you down. And then the Cats, of course, not only do they apply the slow, but they're hitboxes. They'll block the shots. They'll give you that kind of barrier, that bubble that it really makes a big difference for a high-speed jungler or a high-speed assassin like Bastet. But First Blood is going to go to Cog here, 1-0. You can see the tickets at the top here. They're up by about 10 right now when it's wave to wave. So 11 tickets actually. So Cog has a pretty significant advantage right now. And it's going to come down to, can Snipe get these last hits and hope that Cog starts to fall behind?
Yeah, they're really going to have to recover either with a good play with their ultimates, and they do have some great teamfight ultimates there. I think the most powerful teamfight ultimate on the team is going to be the 7 Pillars of Heaven, but Jeff Hindla's Intoxicate's going to find 4. I believe Jerby's still intoxicated there, but the CC timer has fallen off. Spirit's Tempest comes through. It's going to find Anister Omegatron up in the air. Valkyrie's Discretion coming down. Xing will drop his catch as he backs out, but I'm a monster! It connects. MLC Stealth has a second shot. He is going to look for Wolfie. He's going to find the hit, not the damage. MLC Stealth in a bad spot up in the air from the uppercut. MLC Stealth is in trouble, but he's going to get out.
He's going to get out indeed. I'm a Monster coming out there for the hits. We got a 2-0 lead for COG right now. Again, a great initiation by Jeff Hinla. The Blink Intoxicate to let them all wander. You can see he's actually finishing off his Sovereignty right now. So he'll be able to just jump in consistently, and also has that aura, of course, Sovereignty providing 20 increased magical and physical protections around him for his teammates. It's going to make a really big difference when things start to bundle up, but I'm a Monster is just so powerful. The amount of damage he's able to deal right now, especially with the penetration on his boots. Scylla currently sitting on a 70 magical power limit. Belch the Gods coming out here from Jeff Hinla looking for some harassment. There's the Fog, and I'd like to see more Fog use his initiation on Wolfie. There's a Talisol up in there. Tornado's on the ground. The shield's going to be enough to keep him alive there as Kuntanjina tries to go for initiation, staying the slow to crush. Spirit's Tempest, it gets interrupted due to the stun effect and could not pop the crush for damage, and again we have a bit of a loss.
Yeah, Cognitive Gaming really has a nice early advantage. 20 points isn't a huge number to go into the final 10 with, but it's a really nice amount to have at the 3-minute mark. It's the kind of lead that you can extrapolate going forward, and Snipe Gaming, they just haven't found the kills that they're looking for yet. They need to really land those ultimate combos, and it seems like they're searching for initiations that aren't there. Maybe they're trying to force the issue, but how do you force the issue on a team that has 3 incredibly strong frontline characters? Bacchus, Guan, Sun Wukong.
Yeah, it's hard for Intoxic coming out here. There's the Belch looking for the stun. Gets this stun. Ultimate Divine Judgment. There goes the kill on Wolfie. You see Continental surrounded here looking for a retreat. He's going to be able to find it as going up on the ultimate. It's Anister not taking any chances there as he just goes and clears the wave with it. So Cavalry Charge was used just to make sure they don't follow up. And this is exactly how you're supposed to play Arena. It's very much 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You go in, you get your kill, and you back off immediately. You don't get greedy in front of the respawn place for the enemy team. It's very easy to fall in the trap of defender's advantage and thinking that you're going to continue to get kills when they're spawning right there. And so credit goes to COG here for getting in, getting their kill, and then getting out at all costs.
Yeah, you really have to get out of there. We have seen teams stand a little bit too close to the enemy base, and when people respawn, they respawn in waves. But here's a speed camp in, so to speak. Epic Uppercut comes through. Spirit Tempest, Ally gets the kill on an MLC cell. Jeff Hinla, very low, but he's a Bacchus. I believe his belly flop is down for now, and it looks like he's just trying to get it back up, looking for the chance to jump over the wall, not going to find it as Ally's able to secure the kill. And now the rest of Snipe's just going to back off. One important thing to note about Nua, her Fog applies a move speed buff to everyone in the area, skilling up to 30%. That's very strong in a game mode such as Arena. As you highlighted, you have to get in, get out, and doing it 30% faster certainly helps.
Well, it's also really great, when those of us who play Smite like nonstop, when you see a new Fog, it's pretty easy to see where she's going to be, the way the Fog's moving, because you know that she's at the, pseudo epicenter, way it moves around. People kind of get used to that and can predict it. But anyone else in the Fog, you have this pretty large circular area that you don't really know exactly where they are. So it kind of removes a little bit of certainty on the enemy team of where they're going to land their skill shots, when they do their line skill shots. Are they going to be able to do what they want to do? Especially Freya, who has those gumball projectiles trying to hit one target. If they're all in the Fog, you don't know who you're hitting. You don't know if it's going to be doing enough damage to kill them. You don't see their HP. So it's really important to utilize that Fog, and probably one of the most undervalued abilities in this game, given the fact that it really has a lot of uses.
Yeah, it definitely does, but Jeff Hinla's initiating with Blink Intoxicate, and if he just blinks into that Fog, drops the Intoxicate, and you don't see much or Cognitive Gaming can't see many members of Snipe, well, there's probably going to be 3 or 4 people in that Fog. They're going to all be drunk, and that's how you start a fight. The Blink's coming out. Spirit Tempest, it's going to find 2 up in the air. Barracuda falls down right away. MLC Stealth getting very low. Shing's going to find that one. Omegatron running for the fountain. Turns out of Oxform. Jeff Hinla jumps away, but now his jump is down, and Snipe's not going to be able to find the kill on that. Bacchus is just a little bit too tanky.
Getting Scylla a little bit lower is always a good goal to go for, and Snipe says, you know, I don't want to deal with Scylla getting too big and picking her off, especially given the fact that, you know, if there is going to be a team fight, picking her off first means that she won't be able to use that ultimate, she won't be able to, you know, move around the backside, throwing out the Sikkim, throwing out the Crush, and getting huge burst numbers where, you know, a lot of times you gauge your HP and think, can I go in? Yes, and you go in, all of a sudden Scylla just one-shots you when you thought you were safe, so it's really important to make sure that she's a non-factor if you're looking for a big engagement. So we see the tickets right now, 352 to 358. It's not entirely wave to wave just yet. There it is. So 352 to 358, about 6-ticket lead for Cog is not a whole lot. The situation we're in right now, 7 minutes in, and so that definitely gives Snipe a chance to come back from that early game, and it really will come down to the very last stretch when one minion is the only thing that changes the tickets on the other side. It really just comes down to kills. So, you know, this game is pretty even.
Yeah, it really is. This is the equivalent of like a 1,000 gold lead at 10 minutes or 15 minutes in Conquest, where you're like, yeah, it's a lead, but it doesn't count for much right now. We do see some scattered skirmishes coming out. Jeff Hindla's going to belly flop. Shing going for Barracuda in the back. Divine Judgment, Barracuda forced up in the air as Snipe is turning heel and running. Guan Yu's going to chase with the cavalry charge, and he's going to go right into the middle of Snipe. Spirit Tempest comes through, I believe just connecting with the front line, and Snipe, they're going to turn on Anderson. He's getting very low, heals up and running away, but Wolfie with the chase. I'm a Monster finds Allied. The second shot not going to find Incontinentia, who's going to mez. He's going to start walking away, but Jeff Hindla there to body block, not going to find Incon. He's just going to be able to charge away.
Kumakarna using the stumble there to disengage from the Crush from Scylla. Wouldn't have killed him, but certainly would have dropped him down to critical. He was already at a low amount of HP. A very strong engagement there overall, and you know, they ended up picking off Barracuda in that situation, which Barracuda tried to commit as hard as he could, but just could not. You're actually looking at Barracuda's build, and I think he's realizing how much they want to kill him and Scylla specifically. You see he picks up the Fatalis too, and then goes directly into picking up a Magi's Blessing. Didn't even finish off the Hasten Fatalis for the canceling of the movement speed penalty while attacking. He just wants that immunity where people initiate on him. He's going to be able to get away. He's got the Banish. He's got the Slow from Pulse. He has the ultimate to go up in the air and really avoid the follow-up, and there goes the Magi's Blessing completed for Barracuda, so he's pretty happy about that. Honestly, a pretty strong trend in Arena overall is just teams picking up lots and lots of Magi's Blessings. We saw that in the end of the round 16 last week, where we had, you know, upwards of 7 or 8 Magi's Blessings in one game because it's just so valuable.
Yeah, and they're going to be really strong against Snipe Gaming's lineup. They'll mitigate Kubakarna's abilities and Allied's Flame Crystal, but Aokwang, he can only break them with his ultimate. Probably not going to want to do that. Shing doesn't have any way to break the bubble, and I don't believe Wolfie does either. So it's really going to be protecting against 2 players, Incontinentia and Allied, and Snipe doesn't have a reliable way to break those bubbles before they start a fight. Jeff Hinla, Blanket Toxie onto the backline. Cavalry Charge coming through, looking for Allied. Can he survive here? Barracuda gonna clean it up with Valkyrie's Discretion. Spirit Tempest not finding the mark, and a really nice route coming out from Scylla will allow Cognitive to back off. The cats are out, they're on Jeff Hinla, and he really doesn't care.
MLC Stealth finally maxing out that Sikkim there. Sikkim, for those of you who don't know, Scylla, when you max out an ability, it gains an additional effect. Sikkim is that single target ability that flies forward and roots. If you max it out, it roots up to 3 total around the around where you shot it at. And so 3 players from Snipe rooted in one place. That's just going to be the Sikkim from MLC doing tons. And now he actually has the Polynomicon for more damage, but, you know, there is a lot of effort coming out here from Snipe, as well as some, you know, kind of basic attack, high ramp characters like Nuwa or Nemesis once they're able to build it up, especially given the fact that Nemesis started with Magi's Blessing. It's not all that surprising that they have had trouble getting kills early on, as they're kind of building that protective build. Jerby on Aoguang with Magi's Blessing as well, dashing forward, looking for Andinster up in the air. MLC lands on the ground. He's just going to buy time here, but how much time does he need? He's dashing with the Sentinels. Wolfie looking for the kill. The Banish comes out. I'm a Monster's going to get a kill. He's got another one. He's looking for the shot here. Can MLC find it on Kanata? He's going to hit the damage there. Talazal coming through, looking for the sleeping, going to get it. The Belch going to put him on the ground. He's sleeping in the middle of the match. He's right on the ground as well. Shing getting low, jumping over the damage output, but the Wolf is coming through. There goes the shot from Anderson up on the horse, going to take out Shing, dropping low here. Allied wants it, can't get the flame strike. The rotation from Cog will bring them out of the fight as Allied pops the Purification Bees to get away from that engagement. But wow, that was actually a little bit more effective for Cog overall, especially given the fact that they got that I'm a Monster kill, and now they're pulling pretty far ahead, and the ticket's 30.
Yeah, that's a nice lead once again, but Kumbhakarna got out there, which was really astonishing. And it seemed like Cognitive Gaming didn't want to clean him up with the auto attacks. It looked like they were looking to burst him down the moment he stood back up, but Incon was just able to find his way out of that fight. And now Snipe Gaming has been sort of initiating simultaneously with Jeff Henla on that Blink Intoxicate, but it really feels like Blink Intoxicate is doing a little bit better of a job at starting those fights, whereas Wolfie is just kind of running in, and the Blink Mez as well. Epic Uppercut gonna find MLC Stealth. He lands and receives Divine Judgment, gonna get very low, and Wolfie will find the kill with his chin size. That's gonna be the first pick of the match. Intoxicate just out onto one target. That's Wolfie. He's trying to get out of there, sitting at about 30%. The damage coming out. Cat's gonna try and slow down Cognitive's advance, but they will find the kill onto Wolfie. Can Snipe turn it around? The front line starting to get low. Barracuda in a bad spot, and it's going to be Allied looking for the auto test to secure that kill. Barracuda's just backstepping, but he's going closer and closer to his opponent's base. He will fall. He was just trying to pump out the damage there because you don't retreat towards your opponent's side of the map.
He just was not getting out of that one. He had no ultimate. He had nowhere to go. Sprint was on cooldown. Purification Beads was on cooldown. He had no way of escaping. Banish was on cooldown. He knew that even if he tried to run, he wasn't going to be able to do anything with it. And so he just, I'm looking for a kill possibly to do as much damage as I can and maybe just disengage. Shane getting jumped on here by Bacchus. Kumbhakarna going to respawn there as he tries to save him out. The sleepy goes through, and he actually pops using that slam down. Going to pop the bubble there for Jeff Hinla. 45 seconds is going to be the duration that he has to wait for that to come back up. Was a little bit longer, so 210 to 221 is the ticket differential here. Still very much an even game. Slightly for COG, 11 tickets is not really anything to write home about, but it's certainly something to be proud about, that when it comes down to blows, you have that extra ticket buffer.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice little buffer that will allow them to get slightly ahead in the last 10 tickets if everything continues to go at this rate. Now, you're still at the point where a team could, and it could be either team, Snipe or COG, they could pull something outrageous, right? They could get a deicide, push in a siege tower, as we do have Cognitive push, or receiving a siege tower spawn in 1 kill, Snipe in 3, and this game still could go either way. We could see the teams have a strong advantage going into the final 10 tickets, or it could be relatively even.
So, for those of you just joining us, we are in the second week of this Alienware Arena Cup. There's $10,000 in the prize pool up for grabs, and that's why you see such a huge turnout. In fact, we started up about 64 teams using the 64-team bracket anyway. So right now, we're in the round of 8. We've made it this far. COG, Snipe, Team Coast, TSM, Superbia, Exposed Secrets, the Game Changers, and of course, the main Superbia, just regular Superbia versus Superbia Bros, are all in the round of 8. These other matches are playing. In fact, all matches are being played right now, and so we're wondering what's going to happen. But look at the progression here for Snipe COG. They're going to be moving on after this match to face off against the results of Team Coast and TSM. TSM won first place in the launch tournament, winning over $100,000 for their organization, and so they have a road ahead of them. It's going to be very, very difficult, but you can see so far Snipe and COG, they're very evenly matched. Bringing it back to the launch tournament, there was actually a best of 3 that was played between COG and Snipe that really shocked everybody. COG was the #1 team going into the launch event. Snipe much, much lower, but Snipe actually almost 2-0'd COG and forced them into losers brackets right away in the beginning of the launch tournament event. In fact, they were about to win that second game when COG came back with that legendary 15K turnaround. But it really goes to show how much talent we have in the competitive scene of Smite.
Yeah, it totally does. It also goes to show how a match can turn on a linchpin. There, for that game, Shing's Razor Whip hit Dare to Care by like this much, right? And the Cats turned on to Dare to Care.
Mm-hmm.
If it didn't, would have taken the Titan of Order down and would have 2-0'd Cognitive Gaming. Even the smallest of mistakes can have ridiculous impact. It's kind of the butterfly effect, right? And it's tough because you don't know exactly what could make that impact. So you just have to play the best you can every moment and hope that the one time you do inevitably make a mistake every game, because no one can play absolutely perfectly, you hope it's not one of those mistakes that can, you miss a skill shot and you lose the game because of it. That never feels good.
Oh, it never does, and I don't know why anyone would ever think that it could. It's just, when it's just some small little mistake, and this happens in life, right? When something you've been working for so long gets changed by a small error, it's huge. But that's the level you're playing at. When you go into a competitive scene of a game at high level, high octane action, you know that everything comes down to being perfect, to be as perfect as you can, land every skill shot, be in the right position, buy the right items, react to everything you see, and these players that are sitting here playing these games, whether it be Arena or Conquest, their minds are moving so quick because they're always analyzing, looking at the scoreboard. What did they buy? What am I supposed to buy next? How is it going to react? Are they about to hit me with a skill shot? Can I dodge it? How am I going to dodge it? And there's all these thoughts that are running through their head at super high speeds, and you have to kind of just really just sit back and kind of be in awe of how strong these players are and really what they go through, how much training they have. I want to go through it and just kind of give everyone an overview of how Arena works so that you're all on the same page. There's some people that don't play Arena are a little confused as to what's going on. Arena is a circular game mode. It's just a single map, and it's all about action, team fights, and death. Just lots of kills from between teams. Each team starts with 500 tickets total, and these tickets go down for every minion that you kill, and also 5 tickets for an enemy kill on the enemy team. And so, of course, you want to make sure that every wave that comes out could be 6 tickets with 6 minions spawning if you get the last hit, and then 5 for every kill. So you want to be bringing these tickets down as much as you can. But the point that this all builds to is the 10-ticket threshold. At 10 tickets, to prevent the game from going too quickly or ending abruptly, the only thing that matters is kills, and now the only minions that are worth anything are the big minions. When the Cyclops and the giant minions come out, those are the ones you want. Those are worth a ticket, but the little minions, they're worthless now. And so you'll see teams kind of back off at the very end of the game and just kind of relax and be like, I'm going to sit in my base, I'm going to get these minions, I don't want to die, because if I die, I'm giving them 5 tickets, I could end it now. Back in the match, pretty tied up here. Initiation, Jeff Inlet gets the Intoxicate off, looking for a follow-up. Cog might be jumping in here. There goes the Horse activation, looking for Wolf. He's got the shield and the Swift Vengeance to disengage. Snipe is going to get out of that one just fine.
Yeah, but they got out without using their ultimates. I believe the cats from Xing are still on cooldown. They weren't just used. So Snipe's going to have a strong advantage if they can find the fight, because Cavalry Charge and Intoxicate are down. Make no mistake, Snipe is looking for an opportunity here, and that's why you see Cog returning to base, healing up, buying a few items. We do see a Voidstone finish on Jeff Hinla just now, and now Snipe has the upper hand in this next fight for, I want to say, about 30 more seconds until the ults are going to be almost up, right? And if Jeff Hinla's Intoxicate comes up in the middle of a fight and he gets the opportunity to use it, while it might not be quite as good as starting the fight with it, it's still going to make an impact.
Impact is all you want in Arena, and really it's the small pieces. You don't really go for big in Arena until it's towards the end. You want the initiation, you want the big team fight, but you get a kill, you get out. You get 2 kills, you get out. That's pretty much how both these teams have been playing so far. And with 14 tickets apart, they've both been doing quite well at it. I think really the catalyst here for Cog is Jeff Hinla kind of starting these fights off right. Blinks in, gets the Intoxicate. Intoxicate forces you to wobble to and fro, and of course can't control your character. They don't really have any combos that go with it, but certainly is a big tool for spreading apart Snipe. Speaking of Snipe, there goes the sleep initiation from Continental, looking for MLC, forcing the Purification Beats and the Heavenly Agility, so MLC doesn't have that any longer. You see Snipe already looking for that. The backside Cavalry Charge from Ennisor, gonna land on Shin, gets sent out, jumps back, pounces away towards the backside. I'm a Monster not gonna land there. Stealth goes deep here, looking for Shin. Each damage a pocket to avoid the damage following up now, looking for MLC in the base, not gonna find double belly bluff. There's the Jingle Bang going down on Wolfie. Wolfie will fall. The decoy is out from Omega. Now the slow from Al Guox to prevent Jeff Hinla from following up here, as Omega has to disengage as well. But it looks like it's just going to be a single kill in this matchup. And I think a lot of credit here goes to MLC with how he reacted to that initiation.
Yeah, he did a really good job of just staying alive, which is honestly most of his job. Primarily stay alive, secondarily hit people with your abilities and do damage. But if he dies, he's going to be in trouble. We do have a siege minion pushing forward, and Jeff Hinla and the rest of COG, they're going to try and defend it. Ally knock him from the air. He's going to use his Aegis Amulet. That'll buy him a few seconds. The Mez coming through from Kumakarna. The siege tower going down. There's the 6 Pillars of Heaven, even though it's only 4. But Barracuda's going to get knocked down. Stealth will drop a crush. It's not going to hit. Incontinentia knocked up, and with a weakening curse, or an enfeebling curse rather, Cog's going to be able to regroup in the middle lane, push down these minions, back off, return to base, buy some items, and come back in refreshed, renewed, and ready to go. They weren't able to find that siege tower, but it was a very close attempt.
Well, just having it in general is always great. You see this, all the time. When something big is in your way, even if it doesn't do much, the fact that they have to focus on it gives you an edge in a team fight. You can go to the back line without them paying attention, or maybe, when the damage dealers have to commit to the siege tower, they're not picking up the squishies. So far, Snipe has a pretty smart idea in the way that, they're trying to use Shing to jump in, jump out, and cause them to scatter a bit, with, of course, Wolfie jumping in the back and looking for Scylla. They've been putting so much effort in killing Scylla. They want to kill Scylla. MLC Stealth has to die, but this is the beauty of being experienced in this game, is that MLC is just running away every time they do, and so they have to try to scramble and find a new target, and Snipe really hasn't adjusted to the fact that MLC is just, he's willing to sit back and not be part of the fight the entire time if they're going to commit that hard to him.
Right, but Snipe does still have the option of their Divine Judgment. They can use it to really go on whoever they feel like, and they could kill whoever they feel like. The only problem is just how killable some of these characters are. Whereas Sun Wukong, he's not going to go down. Divine Judgment on Barracuda in the back. His bubble is still up from Majai's Blessing, and Enfeebling Curse coming out, and Snipe's going to regroup. They've got their Pillars of Heaven down. Barracuda up in the Valkyrie's Discretion, looking for Ally, not going to find him. Wolfie, though, takes I'm a Monster. It doesn't hurt him too much. Spirit's Tempest, that's going to find MLC Stealth. He's forced to get away with that Sentinel, and he's found enough range. Shing really wants to go for the kill there, but he just can't find the angle. Going to turn on Omega, but with that Ox Form, he's going to get out just fine.
I love to see people using Ox Form more. It's just that, when he first came out, it was so underutilized. No one really used the Ox Form, but it's literally the safest one you have. The bird can be stunned, and of course, the cat can be slowed. And it's just not really a good situation, but that Ox is just going to charge forward, knocking everyone out of its way, and guarantees your path of escape. Jeff Inler kind of poking to see what they do. The Swift Vengeance was utilized there. There's a Sleepy to Sick him in response here. MLC does not have the bubble around him. That Magi's Blessing is on cooldown. There's the knock-up again from Omega as he disengages. As far as ultimates go, there's not a whole lot. In fact, one ultimate available for Cog, 2 for Snipe right now. Shing jumping in the backside, lens the Razor Whip, looking for Barracuda. There's initiation from the Continentia, but it's not going to be able to do a whole lot without any damage behind it. It carries no weight. Looking for Jeff Hinla to just kind of hold him out of the fight so he can't initiate. Going to look for Ally. Ally does have that Magic's Blessing. Magic's Blessing was popped there, and realistically, that's all Jeff Hinla wants to do in between these fights, is keep those Magi's Blessings on cooldown.
Yeah, he's going to try and do that, and he doesn't have the best tools for the job, but he's got some of the best tools on his team. It's really Omega with that Master's Will, the spin and knockup will remove the blessings, and then Jeff Hinlow with that Belch of the Gods, which isn't that great, as it's a 2-second delay. It's a rather short range, and it's very easily interruptible if they can remove his own blessing. Jeff Hinless, he's going to blink in, finds the Intoxicate onto Jerby. Cavalry Charge coming through. Jerby's going to be in a lot of trouble. Will go down to Omegatron. The front prime from Cog is going strong. Omega gets a little bit low. Divine Judgment on Barracuda. A Monster will not find Allied, but the damage after the Aegis will. Shing's very low. He's going to run for his base. Belly flop, not going to find it as he's able to get back in there and heal up. And now Cog has to back out, but they're going to be able to make it out just fine.
What a wonderful Aegis that was from Allied. And it's so amazing to see how quickly he reacted. He knew the Iron Monster was coming down. He saw the reticle on the ground, but the second he realized it, he popped that Aegis and avoided the kill from I'm a Monster. Ended up falling anyway, but it's just those small plays that are so exciting to watch. So at this point, 75 to 54, we're getting very close to that 10-ticket threshold, Cret, and that's when everyone really has to pay attention. And it's that, you're sitting on the edge of your seat seeing what's going to happen. Cog does have a pretty significant lead on them here, just about 27 tickets in the lead, and very comfortable with it. They know that they're going to be able to do a lot with it once they actually get their way, towards the end of the match. Minions getting cleared out here. It's going to be helpful that Nuwa can spawn a full wave with the Clay Soldiers, but it's really only there to block and distract. And when it comes down to the kills at the end, they want to make sure that they're using everything as effectively as they can. I haven't really seen a whole lot of Kumbhakarna combinations from Snipe. Ao Guang's ultimate as the person is landing. Go for the Pillars of Heaven to land on the side of the slow, or the cats to body block them when they land. But they have had a lot of great initiation. The Continentia is a fantastic support. There's another Sleepy to pop up. There's the Intoxicate from Bach. Belchgoth's coming out here. Gonna be avoided as Purification Beads come out there from Allied back into the base, looking for the Crush, gonna find the minions, and I like the fact they're going for them right there. 60-26, it's getting lower and lower.
Yeah, and up in the air is almost yourself. There's the Spirit's Tempest, exactly what you asked for in every way imaginable. And now Snipe's gonna get aggressive. They're looking for Barracuda. He's up in the air with Valkyrie's Discretion and backing off, and it looks like only Intcon is giving chase. MLC Stealth did just respawn, looking for Allied, and Allied's going to get very low with that Polynomicon. I'm a Monster does not find its mark. MLC Stealth has a Sentinel. He's going to use it to get away.
He's going to try and get away here as Incontinentia is being forced out. Freya doing a lot of damage, but Kumbhakarna is just not really having any of it right now. He's just too sleepy to deal with this angry woman standing next to her, angry goddess standing next to him. But that's a great reaction by Snipe, getting some kills there, and perfect combination from Xing, I'm sorry, with Jerby and Incontinentia together, like we were mentioning, that epic uppercut into the Spirit's Tempest. Looking for Wolf in left side. The Magi's Blessing is still available, so he'll be able to disengage if he needs to. Popping the Magi's Blessing on 3 people there, actually, as Incontinentia goes in. Jeff Finley with the belly flop, not going to find it. Of course, Magi's Blessing will prevent that knockup as he tries to go for Allied. And really, you know, as a viewer, you have to give praise to the Magi's Blessing, really how much initiation it is saving here. But here's an Intoxicate looking for Allied. It's the big kill that they want. Each time it gets popped, but there's a Megatron on the top. The belly flop's going to squash Allied into the ground. Now looking for Incontinentia. Epic upcut into the air to slowing him down, but looking for Xing. The crush comes out. Each man buys time, but how much time does he need to get away? The pounce, the Talisman's on Gudo doesn't vanish as he tries to escape. Is it going to be enough for him to jump back? He will, but there's no follow-up if the Stickum doesn't have the distance. There goes the Jingle Blade, the belly flop up in the air. They're going to get the last kill, and Xing goes down to end the game. Cognitive Gaming takes game 1 in this match.
And, you know, the most impressive thing about Cognitive Gaming's play that game was Jeff Finla, hands down. And there's numerical evidence to what I'm saying. He was the top damage on his team as Bacchus.
You know,
don't give Jeff Bacchus.
It's not that surprising. Bacchus is just so strong. He does so much damage. He did the second most damage in the entire game here as Bacchus. I've been one hit by Bacchus. Everyone knows that 2 hit when Xing jumped in and got that big burst there. So, you know, there's a lot of damage potential there, but also played it beautifully as a tank. If you're looking at the build for Bacchus, Jeff Finla, of course, Sovereignty and the Magi's Blessing, you know, started off very modest, wanted to protection, wanted to keep himself safe from those 1 or 2 single initiations on top of him. But then he goes for the shoes, then the penetration of the Void Stone, follows up with the Wing Blade, and so he's kind of building, you know, hard defense at the beginning. He does not want to be weak and fall behind, and he doesn't want to be so weak that he can't protect his teammates. But then once he's feeling good, and now keep in mind, Bacchus gets a lot of HP and protections from every level. He scales very, very quickly as a strong native tank, but then all of a sudden he starts building damage and penetration, and so he has this really good mix. It's, you know, kind of a magical bruiser in a way, so that he can actually kind of go back and forth. You can see with the belly flops doing, you know, 300 damage. You got the Belch of the Gods doing 400 damage. You got his ultimate doing 500-600, and then he's so tanky you can't deal with him. It's really hard to try to find a way around that.
Yeah, and you know, a big part of the way Jeff Finla was initiating, he blinks and intoxicates. That's gonna reduce, or it's gonna remove the Magi's Blessing bubbles, but it's also gonna do a lot of damage and really soften up the health pools of everyone who gets intoxicated. And Snipe was actually running a fairly squishy composition. They felt it.
They really, really did. And, you know, that's the biggest thing, is that, you know, as soon as someone initiated on top of them, they were unable to try to react in the way that they wanted. You know, even when they were the ones to initiate, they were so squishy that really any AoE that was following up, we saw even for the first blood of this match, Kret, the fact that, you know, they jumped on Omega, but the follow-up damage from MLC on Scylla was so much, they lost first blood when they were the ones that initiated. That's really what you have to be careful about. And so, you know, everyone always says it, games are won and lost in the picking stage, and it was just very true here, and it really just came down, and they just needed a better strategy to try and pull up the victory while they were trying to go for these hard dives, because COG had a plan to react to that defensively, and it was working so well. So, you know, this is a best of 3. Game 1 did go to COG. We're going to Game 2 here, Snipe versus COG, and, you know, Snipe's going to take it back to the drawing board and figure out, okay, what worked well for COG there? We were trying to go for the assassination, we were trying to go for the single target damage, but we just couldn't get the gap cleared well enough and efficiently enough to get those kills. So how do we rotate it back? I think that's one thing we have to look at as well, is that COG kind of had this in the back of their minds the entire time. They banned Loki right off the bat. Now, granted, Xing's Loki is mind-blowing, but at the same time, you're gonna pick characters, you know, like Freya. You're gonna pick characters like Scylla, where, you know, when they're exposed and squishy, you don't want any assassins coming in here. So it seems like they were, you know, defensively oriented towards assassins from the beginning.
Yeah, they really, really were, and, you know, they also had a 3-man front line, so it's not just assassins, but it's dive at all. If you put 2 or 3 members on diving the backline of Freya and Scylla, well, Guan Yu, Bacchus, and Sun Wukong are just going to kill your backline because they can do it too. Or they can play defensively, but either way, I think the meat shields on Cognitive Gaming's lineup was really powerful for them. They just had such a strong wall of bodies, and, I mean, Omega didn't die, Anister didn't die, and Jeff Hinla died once. That is exactly how you want your front line to end a game. I mean, that's what I have to give it to. The front line from Cognitive Gaming was just so much stronger than Snipe had a Kumbhakarna and Wolfie diving really deep, but
Sure.
he was also much more vulnerable than anyone on Cognitive's front line.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, when you have that kind of bubble protection around hard damage, and that's kind of how most warfare works, right? You put the durability, you put the bunker down, you put the sandbags down, you put the tank in the front, and you put the artillery in the back. You want to have that kind of protection where you have the hard damage from the backside and then the protection for it in front of it. And you're exactly right. I mean, Kumbhakarna, with how great a god he is, he's not as mobile as some of the other warriors and guardians that can fill that goal. You really put him in there for initiation and control, but he's not going to be able to move around and kind of get in front of people that need protection. We saw time and time again, Shing was kind of on his own, and with how much of a kit Bastet has, he was able to disengage frequently, but he just didn't have enough in his kit. There weren't enough tricks in his bag to disengage from the full committal from Cog, and there was no one to peel from. They didn't really have any peel. They didn't really have anyone to try and protect their squishies, and without that protection, they were basically putting all their cards on the table and betting 100% on the fact that they were going to be able to assassinate the main targets, and then, if you had Freya and you had Scylla gone, what really are those Guardians and Bruisers going to do without enough damage to kill anybody? They needed that damage, but Cog did a fantastic job of protecting it, so every single time Snipe wanted to go all in on the damage, they just could not do it. And that's what it came down to. You really have to focus on what needs to be done. So we're going to be hopping into the picks and bans here as we come up here. You got Snipe on the left side, and then, Snipe on the right side of your screen, and then Cog on the left side of your screen, getting ready to ban out the first character. What do you think Snipe is going to ban? And what do you think Cog's going to ban?
I think you're still going to see bans going directly for the hits with a few targeted bans. So Loki, yeah, Cognitive just doesn't want to deal with it. Geb coming out from Snipe, they don't want that to be first pickable because he's just too good at protecting people. He is the perfect frontline character for what these players are doing because Geb has a shield. He literally just stops people from taking damage. Cognitive, they're going to ban out Xbalanque, who's a very, very strong character in Arena, mostly because of his ultimate, and then also he just does a lot of damage. Bacchus, that's a respect ban.
You gotta do it. You got to do it. But that's going to leave Zeus on the table here. And so, if they want to go for it. So there's the Zeus hover on here for Cog. They want to just grab that up early. That also means that Odin's here. And so, honestly, if you're Snipe, you got to pick up Odin here. You're not going to let him have both unless you're really confident in your ability to react to it. Nemesis can't get out of the spears. Odin's still available here. I'm wondering what's going on with Cog, why they're even considering it. You have the Odin Zeus combination, especially the fact that Odin is just so good. Lunge does a ton of damage. Gungnir's Might does a ton of damage. He's got the slow. He has the attack speed increase for anyone that on his team. And so if he wants to go down the road of a hunter, with Xbalanque gone, they may have that kind of in their build up. So Bacchus gone as well, so I'm really excited to see what Cog's going to do without that. Now Jeff Hinla does have a pretty big pool here. There's Neath, looking for something possibly. I'm wondering what they're going to do with this.
He baited out a lot. We saw that First Blood coming out from Sun Wukong baiting out Shang. And then Guan Yu also locks in. Anister's cavalry charge last game was a big factor. It really applied a lot of pressure, forced out Aegis Amulets, and allowed Cognitive to follow up after abilities had been used. Because, some people think, and a character like Ares, who's been hovered on, is a perfect example. Some people are like, okay, well, Ares, you just beats the ultimate, he doesn't do anything. Well, no, he uses your beads. Now you don't have that option, and removing options is going to be a big factor. Ares is going to be locked in along with Isis. Circle of Protection is a very good ultimate.
I'm surprised to see Ares picked up here. He kind of fell off of the high-level arena scene as you realize, that it's very easy to kind of ignore him as long as you're prepared for it, and you got to know that Cog's going to be prepared for it. I am still surprised that there is no Odin. Why is there no Odin anywhere in this entire lineup at all? They're going to hover on Athena, possibly. Athena's available. Bach is gone. Of course, keep that in mind. Jeff Himla does have a lot in his kit here, looking to see what he goes for. Odin available. No hover yet. Nothing coming out here, so there's a lot of combinations they have available, and so we're going to be seeing, how they react to this, and also the fact that they're picking up Isis means that you're going to have a decent reaction to Odin if they do pick Odin. So if Odin gets picked up, you put the circle protection down inside of the rings, and as the damage goes down, it's building up and up and up, and you'll get a nice burst of damage plus a good heal for whoever was inside of the Odin ultimate getting trapped in. But with the fact that you can block minions, you can block movement, you can block escape, and the fact they didn't really have the kills or the type of gods they wanted, Isis, Ares, Freya, Nemesis. I think Odin would be a great pick on either side.
Yeah, Odin is a really strong character in Arena, but my only thought is perhaps Cognitive doesn't want to restrict themselves to just the Zeus-Odin combo. They want to use that Zeus ultimate in perhaps in a more freeform sort of way. But even then, it's just such a good combo to have on the field. It does seem a little bit strange to not pick that character.
Right.
He can really bring a lot. And maybe part of it is they don't really have the auto attackers, because part of what Odin does so well is he's got Odin Shout, which is a steroid for your team. And that's so good, right? It's great for objectives and conquest. It's great for allowing your hunters to carve through the front line or the back line or anything, because it's an additional hunter steroid, right? It's effectively the steroid that Muzen Cobb has when he's got a hive down, but it's applied from another player. Yet Cognitive Gaming, well, they don't want to run a hunter. So maybe that's why they don't want to run Odin, because they feel like he will just be the Ring of Spears. And that's a little restricted to have a character that you're picking for only one move.
Sure, and it really comes down to a lot of differences, and the fact that they're banning out Shipalonke means that they may have no interest in going Hunter at all. But Odin, when you have Odin on your team, there's no requirement that you have to end up going for the combo with Zeus. A little bit different of a swap here, surprisingly enough. So, of course, same bans. Should be same picks across the board for both teams. As we're waiting for the follow-up, there goes the lock-in. So, as the team lineup on Snipe is going to be Ares, Isis, Freya, Nemesis, as it was prior. Back over to Cog, they have, of course, Zeus, Athena, Guan Yu to start off with, and then they have two more picks to make. It looks like they're going to be hovering on some different things here. Odin's still available. There's the Athena hover that they had prior to see if they want to lock this in. Do they want to go for it is the question. It looks like they're going to be locking in Kronos and Athena here, and back over to Snipe. They want Chalk.
Well, I love that Chalk pickup. It's something that Incon has actually been playing a lot in a dual lane support role. Stormcall is a very strong ability just for disrupting, but now you're going to see a two-person frontline on Snipe, and they're still up against Cognitive with their three-man frontline. Guan Yu, Athena, Sun Wukong are going to be trying to block out Ares and Chalk. To some extent, you could say Isis is like midline, right? Because part of her job, and I think the strongest thing that she brings to the table as a mage, is she protects her team. She gives an HP 5 aura that when you silence gives your team the protections that you've stolen. She's got that circle protection which reduces damage by 15%, then heals back up for burst healing and burst damage. Isis is a very protective character, so let's call it a 2.5 person frontline, but Cognitive still has Guan Yu, Sun Wukong, and Athena can be very strong in Arena. You basically just spam preemptive charge into taunt, and you just try and start a fight over and over and over again.
You know, she's so good. And the taunt is probably one of the better and more elegant CCs we have in the game right now. And, you know, you can rely on it so much. Now, we also have the fact that when she goes for Defender of Olympus, when she's channeling it, she'll be reducing the damage that target is taking. That's also a really big, you know, effective support style thing. And with Jeff Finland, you know, he might be mixing in some damage there. And Athena can do a lot of damage, as we've seen before. And everyone knows that, you know, with Lasses from Team Dignitas kind of spearheading that Athena in the jungle and really doing just upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 damage instantaneously, and the fact that you can of course use the reach passive to just get some pokes out. So you know, you see a very, very tanky lineup here for Cog, but it's kind of reminiscent of what they had prior. You have 3 bruisers, you know, of some level of defense and some level of damage, and then you have 2 very, very strong, either a burst mage and then a burst basic attacker in the back end. Kronos, of course, gonna fill that basic attack role, and Zeus with the big AoE burst. I mean, this feels like the same archetypes as Cog had before. Snipe, though, they got great initiation. They have the silence, they have the cripple, the slow, they have the pull from Ares, they have Freya for the banished initiation as well, and then Isis and Nemesis are going to bring it home when the fight gets low. So we'll see which team can pull it out ahead. We're going to cut to a brief break, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2, Week 2, Match 1 of this first thing here. We're coming in Cog versus Snipe, 500 tickets on the board, and we'll see who can end this very, very early. Cog did take the first match here, so if they win this game, they'll win the entire set and move on into the round of 4 of the semifinals. Snipe has to defend it and hold it here and push it to Game 3 to see if they can pull it out in the end. So we're going to be cutting into this first team up the bottom side of the map. Is going to be Cognitive Gaming, the blue team. We've got Omega on Sun Wukong, Kronos played by Barracuda, and it's Sturdy playing Guan Yu, Jeff Hindlip playing Athena, and then we do have Omega on Sun Wukong.
On the other side of the map, that's the top side. In red, Snipe Gaming. Shing on Nemesis, Wolfie on Ares, Jerby on Isis, Incontinentia on Chalk, and Allied on Freya.
You know, the lineup here, and so pushing up towards the middle minions is what we want to do, making sure that everything is working so well. There goes the Thunderstrike to poke him out. It looks like he's zoning all of Cog right now, but the start is so important. You see the buff camps were a little bit faster for Snipe, as we saw in the last game, and so, you know, we're seeing how efficiently you can clear those buff camps into the mid and then clean those minions out. And everyone being very, very cautious here. We do see for Snipe that they have 4 purification beats, 3 for Cog, and they gotta be ready for this. A double spirit ball, looking for Omega, knocks him up with the Ox, looking for the silence, gonna find the silence, there's the stun, looking for a Continentia. He's gonna disengage from Chalk here, dropping very low. Can they get the last hit of the kill? He's so far behind. Detonate is gonna fall out there, no charges for Zeus, can't get the kill. Omega's gonna go down here to Shing, follow, looking for Zeus, gonna get it, and we'll see go down as well. Snipe with a 2-0 kill lead right now, and they're gonna disengage and let it all go, or will they? Ares, no escape, pulling in Jeff Inlet, Spirit Ball, they get another kill, 3-0 lead for Snipe, they're not taking prisoners.
Wow, what a strong engagement coming out from Snipe. Incontinentia survives, and off of it, Cognitive Gaming loses 3 players. They lost their Zeus, they lost their Athena, and they lost their Sun Wukong. Snipe Gaming really, really did a good job. And, you know, something that is important to note is that Ares with his Shackle, which is, I believe, is 6 or 7 seconds of CC if you really wait to fire those chains, that's going to be doing a really good job of stopping Omega from escaping as that Sun Wukong. You can't turn into a bird or an ox when you're crippled. He's going to have to use beads if he wants to get out. And everyone is going to be paying the beads tax on Cognitive Gaming. They can't afford to not have those items unless they've got a Machia's Blessing, but it can just be poked off. Wolfie takes a lot of damage. Circle Protection will heal him back up. Zeus ultimate comes down. That's the Lightning Storm. Cavalry Charge. Anister doesn't want to let this get away, but he's not doing that much damage. Wolfie gets very low. He's not going to die just yet. Anister is going to be backing out. Barracuda secures Wolfie with that Time Rift. Anister very far out. Dies to the Thunder Strike from max range. Wow.
There goes the kill possible on Derby, gonna let it go there, just have nothing left to grab him up. Thunderstrike coming out, gonna do damage here too. Barracuda as he disengages completely. It's a 4-1 lead for Snipe. They're almost 20 tickets in the lead. Let's see where the wave goes. Actually, the waves are even here, so it's gonna be a very, very large differential for them as they go about 16 tickets in the lead versus Cog, of course, at the beginning. 3 minutes into this match. It's a fantastic start to look at. In response here, Cog hasn't really reacted. They still are sitting on 3 3 purification beads, 2 level 1, and one of them who is actually a level 2. And it seems like Snipe is actually buying more purification beads than Cog. Now keep in mind, and it's on Guan Yu, he'll be CC immune during his ultimate. Same thing goes for Athena, so Nukong can get CC immunity from his. And of course, if Kronos wanted to, he could rewind out of the Ares ultimate. But Zeus, he's got nothing. And so I'm surprised to see Guan Yu being the one who levels his purification beads first after seeing how much effectiveness Ares can pull out if you're not ready for it. So we're going to be pushing up here. Looks like there's a taunt from Jeff Hinlin trying to find Wolfie. Can't get that initial hit on top of him. Looks like Wolfie does actually have a shell there, improved shell, keeping him alive from the damage response. So he's going to be falling back towards the respawn there. At this point, we're waiting for Omega to finish off this creeping curse to make it even creepier to see if it works out. The taunt, Jerby, there goes the hit. Gonna get the shield wall second. Of course, they want him to get out of range from that taunt there to pull it through. But at the same time, you really have to get that initiation off as fast as possible and try to make it as efficient as possible as well. 2 blinks, 1 on Chalk. The Chalk blink storm call, AoE silent. 3 seconds is a long time to be silenced. And of course, the blink from Ares going to build up a lot of really great initiations for Snipe. They have a lead right now, 20 tickets. It's not wave for wave just yet. They're just still about 21, 22 tickets in the lead as this wave gets cleared out. So they're looking for it.
Yeah, they're looking for it, and you know, the ultimates are back up, right? Both of these teams are ready for a fight. They're waiting, and so far, I think it's really been Jerby with those Spirit Balls that's been such a deciding factor in all of these engagements. He's able to apply so much CC from so far away, and he's disrupting Cognitive, not allowing them to get their damage off. And I think a big part of that also is MLC Stealth going directly into Magi's Blessing. Now, Zeus does have very, very high base values, make no mistake, and he's got the penetration boots to boost that damage a fair amount, but Magi's Blessing is going to slow down his damage a lot.
Yeah, and that's what we saw last game, and I think both teams really recognize the power of Magi's Blessing. You see on both teams that they'll buy boots or they won't even buy it at all. They'll just look for the Magi's Blessing, and I think the biggest thing is that they don't want to give away early tickets. They don't want to be giving away kills. They don't want to be giving away. Look at Ares just popping bubbles left and right. I feel like Wolfie right now is just a room full of bubble wrap, and he's just going through and just popping bubbles. And of course, when the chains apply, they apply a cripple and a slow, which will be prevented by the bubble, and he just pops it very freely. And if he lands all 3, he'll get 3 pops per 1 activation of that ability. We do have Aegis Amulet complete here, and Barracuda on Kronos, he just says, I am not going to be dying today. He has greater purification, he has greater Aegis, and of course does have his own stun, and of course has his rewind. So, he's going to be able to either rewind the Ares ultimate, he's going to need purification beads the ultimate, he's going to be able to use the Aegis Amulet on the ultimate. He's not really going to be pulled by Ares for quite some time.
The other thing I want to highlight is that Snipe has packed on a lot more non-ultimate crowd control into their team this time. They've got that cripple, as you mentioned, to pop those bubbles, and then Isis is just a crowd control machine. Silence, stun, can do so much in a team fight. They've also got the banish there, and then as for ultimate crowd control, they've got Incontinential with that Storm Call. They've got Wolfie with that No Escape. But there's one other thing to be careful of. Diminishing returns can really hit Storm Call very hard, and a 3-second silence can quickly become a 1-second silence.
Oh yeah, very easily. You have to be the one to initiate, of course, you Ares ultimate, and really that's a great combo, is that they both blink and then you get the silence and then the pull. Silence will prevent active items as well, and they won't be able to prevent themselves from being grabbed by that No Escape from Ares. And also has the damage potential from that Thunderstrike. You see him throwing it over and over and over again, hitting them low as much as you can, but poke isn't as valuable in Arena, given the fact that the base is literally right there and they can go back and heal it up. One strange thing I saw last game, which I didn't see repeated this game, I was a little bit happy for it, is last game Jerby ended up going for the Vampiric Shroud to start with the base right behind him instead of rushing the important items. I think that hurt him a lot last game.
Yeah, Vampiric Shroud is still a really good item in terms of efficiency for gold. It's not particularly efficient in terms of your item slots, and it was something that Jerby did have to eventually replace. It slowed him down by 800 gold, which is still a big hit, right? It's efficient in terms of stats. It's not efficient in terms of finishing your items and getting those passive bonuses, such as Polynomicon, with its ability to do damage when you hit with an auto attack after using an ability, or Rod of Tahuti, or Void Stone or anything that gives you that nice little passive bonus at the end. Those are so valuable. Jerby accelerating his build and going directly into a Void Stone this game, he's definitely taking on a more defensive angle than he has in the past.
Oh, absolutely. And then it's good to start that way and kind of build in your damage mid and late in the arena. And really, when the kills start to matter more and more and more is, you know, when you build up that momentum, it's great, but things can still be turned around at any second here. So 338 to 347, about 9 tickets here for Snipe. They're holding on to it strong. A lot of the maintenance is going to come from getting these last hits on the minions and making sure you're not falling behind too much. The Spirit Ball is a very curious ability, especially in arena. The farther it travels, the more damage it does, and the longer it stuns. And so Jerby trying to get those long-range snipes with that. I haven't really seen him use circle protection as effectively as he could so far, but definitely has that in the back of his mind to see what he can do with that. Now, the follow-up initiation, say Kog goes in and gets the Guan Yu, Sun Wukong, Zeus ultimate, he can react to that, but, you know, the way Kog is lined up here, I don't see Ice as being, you know, having a ultimate opportunity to be presented her that's just perfect. This is exactly it, you know, like an Odin ultimate or a Hades ultimate, where it says, you know, this is exactly where I'm supposed to put it. The build up here for Kog and their team comp is all over the place. They are free to get kills in different areas, and they don't really have a central focus.
Now, one thing I do want to point out is Snipe Gaming, Incontinentia, and Xing, I believe, were able to stand in front of the speed buff on the left-hand side as it was on the ground and zone out Cognitive for 30 seconds. The speed buff rotted away without anyone from Cog being able to pick it up. So Snipe Gaming looking for those little victories as Cognitive Gaming isn't going to get into a position right now where they can actually be engaged on, and Snipe really wants the fight, I think. They are ahead in terms of gold, not so much experience, and in terms of tickets, but their lead in tickets is actually starting to fall off. So Cog, they need to keep playing passive, and so far they're winning with passivity. Wolfie is gonna find chains onto, I believe, 5, one being a decoy, and he's gonna pay for it. That is one of the downsides of Ares.
Jerby getting low. There goes the Hellenister on the backside. Get the follow-up now, looking for the front side. Shing's gonna get the kill on MLC. Can he escape? The taunts can be prevented by the purification piece. The detonate is available. There's no Zeus. Tries to wiggle out, but the slow is far too much. Again, back to the top of it. You see Omega using the Oxform to disengage. Up in the air. Single shot from Allied looking for Barracuda now. There's the area of effect damage from that Valkyrie's discretion. A back and forth in favor of Snipe, actually, surprisingly enough. Now 291 and 286. Not wave to wave just yet. The double taunt not done yet. Zeus is back up, does not have an ultimate. In fact, there are no ultimates on the board right now for either team, but what a very split engagement that was.
Yeah, now we do see, when it's wave to wave, a 1-ticket difference. Cognitive Gaming has come back from those, from their early deficit. Even though they're still down in kills, they've been able to out-farm Snipe just in terms of getting tickets from last hits. And as you mentioned before we started our first game, missing a last hit can actually really be punishing.
Oh, it really, really can. You'd fall behind by 1 ticket, 2 tickets, or even not even get the kill. Circle protection on the ground with that wonderful Scarlet Coven skin there for Jerby on Isis, but of course more used as zoning potential rather than actually losing any to minions. 271 to 266, again, very, very even, a 5-ticket differential, but this is not wave to wave. So, you know, Snipe is actually pretty tied up here. In fact, Snipe is behind by 2 tickets just due to the fact that Cog ended up getting 3 kills for 2. Cog ended up winning that last engagement, and now getting more last hits on the mini waves, it's going to start to add up.
Right, the last time we mentioned it, it was Cognitive behind by 1, now they're up by 3. An engagement coming out, Jerby getting pressured in the back, Lightning Storm on top of Stealth. He's going to try and use it to survive, not able to get a detonate off. Wolfie finds the no-escape onto 2 targets, but they use their beads, they've paid their taxes, and Wolfie will fall because of it. Now Xing in a bad spot, he's getting very low. Tello Assault to pressure, he's going to try and dash away, but the time rip, Barracuda, he's going to find it. Jerby stunned out after he respawns. Snipe, they couldn't find anything there, and Cognitive was just able to roll through them.
This is what Cog has been doing in this Arena Cup so far. They built a durable front line and then a very mid-late game back line. Zeus and Chronos together, and you know, it was a slow start for them. Snipe got the initial lead, Spirit Ball left side, look, Barracuda gonna find Barracuda, Jetfiller forced to disengage here, gets the preemptive strike, no follow-up, the chains to the ground, get interrupted by the taunt. Beautiful play by Jeff Hinla there, interrupting the chains completely. Now they start gonna do some damage here to Wolfie, very, very tanky. Chain landing is available, gonna bounce between, looking for Allied. Spirit Ball not gonna land here as the wave is cleared out effectively by Incontinentia on Chalk going over the right side to try and defend the buff camps, but it's just not there for them. You know, this strategy is working so well for Cog. Snipe at the early game, Cog is now coming out strong for the late game, and I'm curious to see how Snipe is going to react to the fact that they're getting this saturation point where Chronos and Zeus are going to be hard to deal with, but you can't really specifically deal with them when you have 3 bruisers in your face.
Yeah, you really can't. And, you know, I think part of it is Barracuda's not actually building auto attack Chronos. He's building Mage Chronos, so his abilities will hit very hard. His auto attacks will still hit hard, they're just not going to come out quite as fast with a Demonic Drift. And as a result of that, he's really able to secure kills and poke and pressure with those time rifts. Jeff Hinman looking for the engage, just going to pop some bubbles and back out. Incontinentia fighting in 5. He's going to drop his Storm Call. The silence beats come out from Barracuda, leaving him vulnerable to an Ares ult. He'd have to ult away from that, but Wolfie's not going to go for it. He remembers what happened the last time he jumped into the middle of Cog and tried to ult. He just paid for it with his life. Didn't even get his pull off in time. And you know, there was a patch, I think 3 or 4 months ago now, Ares ult does go on cooldown if you kill him before he finishes and pulls everyone in, and it used to not be the case, so it's really punishing when that happens now.
Yeah, he respawns, of course, still has a cool Spirit Ball, looking for Jeff Hinla. The pull on MLC, forcing each and Purification speeds. Defender Bill is going to buy time for him to reduce the damage. Thunderstrike comes out. There goes the slice and dice. MLC's down. Rewind coming out for Barracuda. Gets the disc in the back, but Sheen's going to find him. Purification speeds to defend the slow and the stun there from Barracuda. Now back into his base. 5 players from Snipe still alive. They got the kill on MLC. Is exactly what they wanted. There's the silence going to pop the bubble for Anderson. The Spirit Ball. Purification beads. They're using them so frivolously here, not wanting to be pulled back or stopped in any way, but Snipe is finding their stride here.
Yeah, Snipe's really finding it, and you know, I think a big part of it is that Cognitive Gaming has to be sparing with their CC immunity because they can't get pulled. If you get pulled, you're probably going to die, so they always have to have an option up for that. Wolfie does have some CDR, going to put his ultimate at, I believe, a 78-second cooldown, I want to say. So it'll take 15 seconds off a little bit. Barracuda getting pressured. He's going to drop very low. The Spirit Ball, Jeremy's going to find it. Wolfie down to half. He's going to be forced to back off. Lightning Storm only to find 1 hit onto an Ares. That's not the placement that you need, and Snipe is just going to be able to walk out of that one nice and clean after they clean up this minion wave.
Chronos Pendant was purchased by Jerby here. I'm surprised to see him go. Now, I'm actually amazingly surprised to see him pick this up, especially in Arena. You know, one of the selling points for Chronos Pendant is the mana generation, but the base is right there. Looking for Omega. Mega dropping low here. Getting forced to pop up on his Cloud. Ally jumping out here. That stun, that hit from the Defender Blitz going to be able to finish off Ally in the back, and now Xing is defending himself from the Towel Assault from Guan Yu backside, looking for Ares. He doesn't have an ultimate. He doesn't have anywhere to go, but they can't follow him. They don't have the distance to get him as the follow-up from Incontinentia, and Jerby comes through. Incontinentia very low here. Chronos looking for the fall, cannot find the time stop. Time stop goes through, does not land on Xing. Xing uses the Retribution, but the Retribution is not going to save him in this situation. He goes down in front of Omegatron, Barracuda, and Jeff Hinla. So the full dive from Snipe was not successful. Wolfie got out, but at what cost?
You know, just to go back to that Chronos Pendant, I actually like it in this situation because I don't think Jerby needs to be afraid of Anister and Omega. They're the sources of physical damage, and while they're pressuring him, he's got the mechanics that he needs to stay alive against them. He's got his Circle of Protection, he's got his Silence, and it's really the magical damage of MLC Stealth and Barracuda that's a threat to Isis in this situation. So yeah, the MP5 isn't going to be a factor, but it's magic power and cooldown reduction, whereas Breastplate of Valor is physical protection that he doesn't feel he needs. And, you know, Jerby, he's just trying to be crowd control. That's why he went the choice for full CDR. It's just Spirit Ball, Silence. They've got a very low cooldown on those abilities by default, and dropping them very, very low is going to allow Jerby to assist in peeling, which is something that was a big failing for Snipe in their last game.
Well, he's going to finish off a rod right after that, so he does have enough damage to back up your claim, and now Magi's Blessing being completed on top of it. He's relatively safe, and he'll be playing a little bit safer as he has been. 128 to 123 as the wave does clear out, so it's a total of 9 tickets. There's a pull from Ares. Will it land? Not going to pull anyone there. Anderson responds with his own ultimate, looking for the backside. Jerby on top of his ult, pops for the heal, now dropping low. Continental wants it. Megatron looking for the Jerby kill on the backside. Up under the banish is going to be it. By the backside, you see Zeus goes down. Rewind's going to make it with about 100 HP left. Disengaging completely as Shing dashes forward with Swift Vengeance. You see Jerby gonna be dunked on here by Omega. Aegis ambient buys behind the Vanish, kills it off as well. It's a 4-man collapse. A sea of red is blinding Omega as he goes down here. The taunt from Jeff Hindla, the chain lightning. Wolfie goes down as well. MLC finds it with a detonate. The lightning is fast enough to take him out there, and now the tickets are coming through, but we do have a siege tower.
Wow, what a play from Cognitive Gaming. You know, it leads me to a question as the siege tower gets pressured by Snipe. What characters won't Jeff Hindla buy a blink on? Because he's got a blink Athena, and we saw it secure a kill there. Snipe, they're going to receive a fairly big taunt, and Inconentia is getting pressured very low. Barracuda looking for this one. Circle Protection not going to heal him up that much. Incon down to just about 400 health, but he's going to make it out. Cog not able to find Chalk for the second time this game. They've gotten one kill on him, but Incon's not going to let them get another.
Well, Chalk just has so much health regeneration with that Rain Dance. Of course, with the Thunderstrike Tor combination, he can relocate himself. He's got the silence and damage, partial damage immunity. And so when he really wants to get out, he certainly has the tools to do it. And he's been using it quite effectively so far. Not only that, but Incontinentia is a support player, so he has that mindset. Blinking in here, Jeff wants a taunt. He's going to get it. There goes Ares ult on 4. Who will it pull? It's going to get 2 there. Stealth gets pulled in as well. Zood's ult on the ground, and Stealth tries to disengage. He has the Aegis shield to buy some distance. The stun's going to come out for Incontinentia. Killing spree. Jerby goes down the backside. Up from the cloud's going to be Omega. Now trying to find Incontinentia, who will go down as well from the Jingle Bang. Looking for Allied. Can't have the damage to fall up here. Shing is going to disengage. Good Spirit Ball. Good silence as well from Jerby. Wingguts to do some damage here. Rewind comes out from Barracuda. And Cog comes out on top with that kill on Incontinentia. And Snipe is really now scrambling to try and recover from this, but being 17 tickets, 18 tickets behind now as they cross over the 20-minute mark. They got to have a response for this.
Yeah, they really, really need to look for it now as the time is getting close, and this is sort of the last 2 minutes where the teams are going to look to go into the final 10 tickets with an advantage. Right now, wave for wave, it's going to be 17 in the way of Cognitive, which is going to give them a nice buffer. It's like a 5k lead going into a Fire Giant. It's there, you can feel it, but it's not enough to make you really comfortable or complacent, because you could still lose. The possibility of losing a team fight is very, very real for both of these teams. And, you know, I love how the moment we say it, Incontinentia dies, right? How did Cog actually get their hands on Chalk? He's such a hard character to kill, but they were able to focus up. They were able to get that kill, and Cog is just really showing us what they can do. Omegatron, his ultimate will be baited out at this point. It's going to be a regular cooldown of 90 seconds, though it does start a little bit higher. So we'll likely see that one come back up before the final fight, but Omegatron is going to be vulnerable for the next minute and a half.
You know what's really great about the lineup for Cog here is that they have so many hard resets. You jump on Kronos, he rewinds. Oh, there's a taunt from Jeff, starting off right here. Jerby is caught out, up on the cavalry charge. The horses come out. There goes the ultimate from Athena as well. Each time going to buy time completely, popping the ultimate. Circle Protection protects as it promised. Looking for Jeff Miller. The pull is going to be forced out here, but only Jeff gets pulled in. Heavily agility gets some distance. Good stun for Kronos. Huge burst on Shing as he drops very, very low. Back to the base he goes. Now scrambling back to get back out here. Anderson slowed down by Allied. Allied's doing a lot of damage here, but the fight happens so quick. He really doesn't have always the opportunity to get in there, get the damage that he wants. And, you know, back to my original point, I think that what's so great about the lineup for Cog here is that, you know, they have so many hard resets. Kronos can rewind. Sendokan can go up on his cloud and re-heal back up. Guan Yu can ult out, and Athena can apply the protections to a teammate. And of course, you do have the Athena Guan Yu combination, and it's the same thing as last game, right? They want MLC, but they just can't get him.
Yeah, you know, part of it, and we actually saw this at the launch tournament too, is that Zeus can bait your opponents because you have to kill Zeus. He's just such a big threat, and then in killing Zeus, someone else on the team, this time Barracuda, is going to take down someone important. Or you're going to see Anster, Omega, and Jeff Hindla pressure down Jerby in the backline, as that's basically what they've been doing all game long. They're saying, MLC Stealth, you can stay alive mostly by yourself. There will be a little bit of help, but mostly it's the Cognitive frontline diving for Jerby and saying, Jerby, you're going to have to use everything here if you want to have a chance at surviving. And they've proven it. I mean, he needs to use beads, he needs to use Aegis, he needs to use his Magi's Blessing, he needs to use his ultimate and his silence and everything to the fullest extent of his abilities, or he will fall. And now Cognitive is getting very aggressive. They're going to look for Incontinentia, but the Storm Call, he's turning back around. Circle Protection pop for just a moment. Incon getting the cavalry charge. No, it's going to be a turn onto Wolfie. No escape for Wolfie, not able to get it off. Lightning Storm to secure that kill. 2 minions and Cog. They're pressuring the wave. They're going to find Shing. They're going to take it, and they're going to move on to the round of 4. Cognitive Gaming takes down the last Alienware Arena winners. Snipe, they're going to move on. Wow.
Yeah, big pickup there for COG. Like you mentioned, Snipe ended up winning the last arena tournament. And, coming into this one, the round of 8, they're looking strong. They're feeling great. They're going up against COG, but COG seems to be hitting it home here. Jeff Inla pulling it around the corner, getting those great initiations. Athena and Bacchus doing a great job of getting the starts that they absolutely needed. And, I think this came down to picks so much. And, you got to have the right idea when you go into arena. And the same constructs that work in Conquest just don't work in arena at all, those kind of assassinations. And I think the other thing comes down to as well is that we didn't have full committal from the right people on Snipe. Shing would commit too much, Allied wouldn't commit enough, and of course Incontinentia was running in between, but there wasn't as much cohesion on Snipe that you saw on COG, and that's what brought them so well together. And I also want to point one thing out just to put them on blast. Shing was the last kill to end of the game both times.
Shang, confirmed feeder, but he's such a good player, and he really did play lights out in that match. Going 7-4-4 on Nemesis, he was able to pressure in the right places, but it just wasn't enough. And I think a big part of that was MLC Stealth's play style. He wasn't a Lightning Storm Zeus. He was a Chain Lightning Zeus. We did see the ult come out, used defensively or used to secure burst to get a kill, like that kill onto Wolfie, but for the most part, I'd say the majority of MLC Stealth's 38,932 damage was going to be Chain Lightning. He just kept firing it off, finding those bounces, using the detonates in the right places, instead of relying on that ultimate, because he knew Snipe would be able to deal with it. That's how Snipe took the first game against Cognitive at the launch tournament. They said, play Zeus, we'll deal with it. They did, and Cognitive Gaming, specifically Stealth, changed up his strategy to use a different one of Zeus's strengths. His damage, aside from his ultimate, is still insane.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, is that when you're in arena, there's going to be clusters of people and minions, and the minions get cleared out quickly because they're highly valuable. And so all of a sudden you have this guaranteed 3 to 5 bounce targets. So Chain Lightning being very effective here, used on cooldown, just continually throwing it out and out and out and out. And I think there was a really smart build into the team comp there for a COG, and they implemented it perfectly. I think they really kind of granted them the win and really controlled everything. Snipe was very close both times, and Snipe definitely played a very strong set of games. They had some good kills. In fact, this game they came out strong with a 3-0 start, putting COG in their place, but I think they just missed too many last hits on minions and didn't get the team fights that they wanted, especially with so much faith put into Ares, which Ares he's such a fickle character in some situations where he can be very strong, or sometimes he can just fall flat, and that's a gamble that they made, and if it paid off, everyone would be cheering, and this time it didn't pay off as the way that they wanted to. But that's the end of that matchup, guys. We're going to be going into the semifinal round coming up next. We're going to come to a brief break, and we'll be right back.